to get started on our gnome fairy pumpkin village. So to start with, the base that I'm using here is from TJ Maxx. I actually got this in their clearance section and I was like, this is absolutely perfect. This is exactly what I needed. The next thing that I'm going to be using is this pumpkin that I got from Michael's, and this was originally $10 and I think they're having, I think I got this for either 40% off or 50% off. I got this for a pretty good deal. And then all of these items I purchased well back into the spring of this year. And I was thinking, okay, well, for this craft, I'm gonna pull out all of my little village related items and see which one I want to use. And because I will be cutting this pumpkin, I ended up buying this professional hot knife from Michael's. And I've never tried it before, so we'll see if it actually works, but I thought it would be a lot easier to be able to cut into this pumpkin versus taking a household knife and, you know, making a mess. So this is a knife that heats up, hoping I'm careful with it. So I traced the back side of my door that I'm gonna use, and I'm gonna use this as a template so I can draw it onto the pumpkin and make it a little bit easier to cut out. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this out right now. I'm cutting a hole here in the bottom so that it will be easy to insert the fairy lights later on in the project. Now we're gonna go ahead and cover the top part of this. And for my pumpkin, I do wanna give it some height, so I'm using this leftover foam disc from Dollar Tree that I had in my stash. And from Michael's, this one is originally, I think, $9.99, but I got it with the discount. So I'm gonna be using this to cover it. I found floral moss at Dollar Tree. I covered my surface here because moss, if you've ever worked with moss, whether it's a sheet like this or loose moss, it literally gets everywhere. So cover your surface when you're using this. So I'm gonna be using hot glue to glue these down. and then just go ahead and trim off any excess moss off the edges. Now here I want it to give my pumpkin more of a weathered look, like a pumpkin that you would find out in the forest somewhere. So I wanted to add a little bit of dirt to it, if you will. So I decided to water down my brown paint, and as you can see, I'm just kind of putting the brown paint in the grooves of the pumpkin and then just wiping it off quickly before it dries. And I just kind of go around the entire pumpkin, do the same thing, and then eventually you'll see that I add different streaks just to give it a little bit more of a weathered look. And I just find that it looks a little bit more realistic than the kind of flat orange color that was originally on the pumpkin. So I wanted to create some window panes on the windows that I created in my pumpkin. So I'm using these bamboo skewers from Dollar Tree and cut them down into just 4 small pieces. And I'm gonna go ahead and just paint them brown, all 4 pieces. And then in the next slide, you will see that I'm going to create an X, take a piece of twine, and then wrap it around on both sets of the branches. Once you have both done, then you're just going to crazy glue them into the windows themselves, just like this. All right, so this is where we're at so far. I went ahead and I added some branches here to the sides. These will eventually get covered, but I just wanted to cover up as much of any holes that I had here. I used these wood stems from Dollar Tree. Aren't these cute? I've never seen these before, but they come in literally a pack of just chopped up branches in different thicknesses. What I want to do is I want to add some more, some faux leaves on the top of the house. And what I did was I took some Model Magic, just a little small bag of Model Magic of green, and I just take it, I roll it into tiny balls, and I'm using the silicone mat. I got this out of the baking section at Hobby Lobby. So I rolled my little balls of Model Magic, I put them into here, smoothed them out. So I ended up doing these 3 styles of the leaves from the baking sheet. Really, really cute. It's the perfect size to add on here. I will be painting these a little bit to kind of match the color scheme here. So I'm just going to go ahead and hot glue these down to the top of my house. So here's our pumpkin in its finished state. So the leaves have now officially dried. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna adhere it to its base. But before we do that, I wanna make sure I add in the LED lights. So this is just from Dollar Tree. I'm going to go ahead and insert the lights into the pumpkin. I am not going to insert the battery pack because if this ever runs out of juice, I want to be able to swap out the batteries. I can actually conceal this on the bottom because there's little feet here. It's about the right height. So I can adhere this right to the bottom of the base. All right, so in terms of decorating, I'm going to point out a couple materials that I will be using in the project. I picked up from Dollar Tree these wood stems, so this was just really convenient to have. You get a ton in this bag, a ton. And then I also found these wood stems that are a little bit chunkier. As you can see, these are thinner. These are chunkier trunks, if you will. I purchased this miniature wood bench that almost looks like it's straight out of Lord of the Rings, and it even has, can you see that? It even has moss on it. It pairs really nicely with the wood stems that I purchased. So I got this from Michael's, and this is from Art Mind's Mini Embellishment. From Dollar Tree, I purchased this pumpkin scented pine cones little pack. I've already kind of cracked this open, but it comes with a bunch of pine cones, these leaves that are hard, and then these really pretty leaves as well that you can also save, put them in your crafts. But I just thought this would add some really nice scent to the project. Not necessary, but I love pumpkin spice, so anything that I can put pumpkin into, I'm all about it. For my stash, I had this witch broom that came in a pack from Michael's. I actually took this and cut it down to a smaller size, as you can see. So I cut off some of the straw, cut down the stem, and so I thought that was so cute. So it's like a little miniature broom that I'm gonna use. And then I'm going to be using these pumpkins that I also got from Dollar Tree. So kind of squishy, and then this one came off of a bushel of flowers. And I'm using these adorable gnomes. These were actually made by my friend Amber Crawley. My little gnomes have a place to live. I think they're so cute. I love them. So thank you, Amber, for those. So I'm gonna go ahead and start putting everything together, piecing everything together, and then I will present you with the final project at the very end of the video, so stay tuned.
These fairy figurines are from Dollar Tree, and they are from the spring collection this year. I decided to use this welcome sign, and I just gave it a little bit of a paint over, so feel free to do that if you find that something is a little bit more spring. I just ended up painting the color of the flower pumpkin spice color, and then I did more of a green wash over the welcome sign. Here I'm just gluing the fairy lights around the perimeter of the base. So I'm just kind of concealing it and hot gluing it underneath the moss that I have. So because the fairy light wire is very thin, it's really easy to just kind of slip it in between the base and the moss. So I'm just hot gluing it into place all the way around. I did have some extra leaves from when I was doing the foliage around the doorway, so I decided I wanted to obviously not waste them, so I am just painting them in very autumnal colors. So I'm doing kind of orange, yellow, pumpkin spice color, and of course the green colors, and going to be sprinkling that all the way around the moss. I noticed that the front of the pathway here was a little bit too dark, even with the fairy lights on the side, and then of course the fairy lights inside the pumpkin. So I was going through my little stash of fairy lights and I found this piece here. It's just this little disc, and this was a part of a lantern that I got from Dollar Tree, and it came apart and it's just been sitting in my stash. It works perfectly and it was the right size, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna make this into a lantern. So I just took one of the wood stems that I've been using all throughout this project, same stems that I used for the pathway here. I glued it to the front of where the light is, and I'm going to basically create this and make it into a mushroom lantern. So out of the Model Magic in the red, I just kind of free-formed a mushroom top. It doesn't have to be perfect. This whole project is very whimsical looking, so I wanted it to stay within that realm. So I didn't want to glue the top down to this because I need to be able to turn this on and off. So I made it big enough so it would cover, and look how cute that's gonna look. Now I'm going to cover this part here so that it looks a little bit more finished, but I will keep this light part exposed so I can actually see the light coming through. But all this other part, I'm going to just try to cover as much as I can and then leave the top unattached so I can go in and turn on the lantern whenever I want. So basically it'll look something like this. So when I have the top on it, you can see the pathway. I'm gonna let this keep drying, and I'm gonna probably add some specks to it and probably change the coloring a little bit. So that's basically how I'm kind of making my own little lantern that is for my little fairy garden. So there's that. Never throw away any good pieces. You can always repurpose them. Here is what the finished village looks like. It is so charming. I would love to live in a little pumpkin house like this. It's just the perfect depiction of autumn, and it makes me so incredibly happy to see all of the autumnal elements. Now again, for the lights, we have the fairy lights here, of course. We have the fairy lights inside the pumpkin, but then also the mushroom cap comes off and it turns into a little lantern there. So you just turn it on and off, and then replace the little mushroom cap. Very easy to do, especially if you find some of these items at Dollar Tree. And also with the leaves, you can make your own leaves using the silicone molds. The pine cones you can easily find. So all of these are very easy to find. And if you can't find the branches at Dollar Tree, feel free to go out into the forest or your backyard and find some branches there. But anyways, that is the end of this video. And if you like this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications for more content to come. I have quite a few more fall related videos and then some Halloween related content coming. You won't want to miss out on that. So until next time, bye for now.